Stay tuned and let's check out this brand new Marvel Legends upgraded suit, Spider-Man. Pow, and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And remember, you can now hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Quite simply show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we are taking a look at this brand new Marvel Legends upgraded suit, Spider-Man. Now I know what you're thinking. We've seen this figure before. It's a straight up reissue. I thought the same, but trust me, from closer inspection, there are a few minor differences. And it's not the first time we've seen that head either, as we have had that already as well. So it's sort of an amalgamation with a couple of tweaks, and I will do my best to do a straight up comparison as we open this up. But it is a nice opportunity for MCU fans to backtrack, pick up a Spider-Man. Collectors jump on at all different points, so I'm not mad about it. You can see the box art doesn't actually have any of the Spider-Man movies on it at all. We know we're expecting No Way Home in December, but the first time we seen the upgraded suit was in Far From Home a few years back. But as I said, this isn't a part of any wave. It was a Walmart exclusive, I believe, in the US that came straight in stock. In the UK, I got mine from Hasbro Pulse. Nice and simple, no pre-order. It was just in stock and it arrived a couple of days later. That is what we like to see. So in the box, no Build-A-Figure piece. As I said, no wave association. We do get some web sweeping hands and interchangeable masthead, and there is a web piece there as well. It's a bit translucent, but it's there. The box is a bit empty. It would have been nice to have some wall crawling hands, maybe some more web effects. I don't know. I just don't really like seeing empty space in a box. But as I said, it's an opportunity to get Tom Holland Spider-Man once again. It shares the same box art as the No Way Home wave that I don't have yet, but as you can see from the back, it isn't part of that Build-A-Figure wave. It is just a straight up single release exclusive to Walmart in the US. But we do get a little write up that reads: Spider-Man gears up in his upgraded suit to fight evil and protect his neighborhood. And then obviously promo image of the MCU suit. So as I said, we've seen this figure before, but it has got some differences. So let's find them out. So here we have Spidey out of the packaging with all of his accessories, which, as I've mentioned, aren't a lot. We've got one set of interchangeable web sweeping hands, the masthead, and then behind him here is this translucent web piece. You won't be able to see it against my white background, but I promise you it's there. We've seen this web piece before, but in white. Now it's very much translucent, so I'll show you that in more detail in a second. But the figure itself, now we have had a previous version of the upgraded suit, but they have made some tweaks and made it better, in my opinion. So let's just look at this figure like we've never seen the upgraded suit before, and then we're getting to some comparisons. Now, one of the main attractions to this figure, I am sure, is this unmasked Peter Parker Tom Holland head sculpt, and I do think this is the best one out there. Now, from certain angles, it is definitely Tom Holland. Like, if I turn it there, then that is definitely Tom Holland. But from other angles, not quite as much. Hasbro are one of the best at this 3D digital face printing sculpt. So yeah, I think this is pretty good. The hair's got a nice quiff to it. There is a bit of dark wash in the sculpt to the hair as well. And overall, it is very nice and an upgrade to the previous version of this head sculpt that we got in the Iron Spider and Iron Man 2-pack in the 10th anniversary line. Now, it is the same sculpt, just slightly repainted. So I don't know how well the lights will show that off. He looks a bit pasty there, but this has got a bit more tone to it. So I do prefer this new one over the previous one, but as I said, you can make your mind up. But I do think this one is an upgrade. Get it? Upgraded suit, upgraded head as well. But yeah, from some angles, definitely Tom. Other angles, not so much, but it's still pretty good. The best one out there. Of course, we also get a masked Spider-Man head as well, of course. But I do always appreciate those options because I do think the characters behind the masks are just as important to display on the shelves. Like, I need Peter Parker as well as Spider-Man on the shelf. So I appreciate those options. I do think this is the same head sculpt that we've got before. So nothing new here, but it is a nice Spider-Man, well, a nice MCU version of Spider-Man. Now, these web lines would look a lot better if they were painted because, let's be honest, they are sculpted onto the figure, but they're not painted on there, unfortunately. If they had like a little bit of a black wash in there, I do think this would take this figure to the next level. So that is unfortunate. That would definitely give this figure, and it would really be an upgraded suit. But we know how Hasbro do things, so they've got the sculpted lines, which are nice, but it would have been nice to have that wash in there as well, just to make them pop that little bit more. Now, a lot of people are saying this is the same figure that we previously got. And if I bring the previous one in, you will see for yourself, it is different. Now the whole torso, lower torso, upper torso, and the crotch piece are completely different. I do think they share the same head, the same arms, the same legs, but I do think the whole sort of middle section, upper torso, lower torso, and the crotch piece are different, and I'll show you why in a minute. At first, people thought that just the lower torso is reused, but I do think that upper torso is also a new piece, and again I'll show you why in a second. But yeah, if you have the previous one, this is the one you've got. The red is a little bit, I don't know, a little bit darker maybe to this one. This red pops a little bit more accurate for me. Not that I disliked this one, but you can understand why people thought it was a straight up reissue, and it is close to, but not quite. And let me explain. So let me bring in this one again. So this web emblem is so much more accurate to what we see in the film. The previous one on the other one is not as good as this. So that emblem is very much an MCU Spider-Man logo, very nicely painted, sculpted on there as well, of course. You can see it sort of risen above the chest, and that is very nicely done. Spin it around to the back, and again, you can see a nice, fresh, clean and crisp Spidey logo there, sculpted on the back, very nicely painted, very much accurate. Compared to what we've seen previously, you can see that's not as good as this. So there you go, there's an upgrade straight away. And on the back, it's not as painted and not as coloured in as this. So there's your comparison of the back. And you can see that the newer one is definitely a cleaner, crisper logo. Same on the front, the emblem on the chest, definitely cleaner, crisper on this version than it is on this version. So hopefully my camera focuses in and out and you catch what I'm talking about. But yeah, this new torso piece is definitely new. And again, these web lines, if they were painted, would really make a difference. But other than that, we've got the butterfly joints, as you would expect with a Spider-Man, the nice crunch, and the crotch piece is definitely different as you get this red V going down, and all the sculpted detail from the web actually comes down into the crotch as well, where previously you can see it didn't do the red V, it was only up there in like a square. So much more accurate on this new one. So I do think this new one is definitely an upgraded and a more accurate Spider-Man suit. So again, I'll show them both there side by side so you can see differences are the upper, lower torso and crotch piece. And then I do think the logos are painted a lot nicer on the new one as well. And also this one, the previous one, has the same texture on the black that this one does. So they do share that at least. And I do think the arms are different. Just obviously you've got the red elbows now on the new one compared to the previous one. But I do think sculpt-wise, they're the same. You've even got the red line above the elbow there. And the line is sculpted there, just not painted. Moving down to the boots. The boots are the same sculpt, but you can see the new one now actually has the darker soles of the shoes compared to the all red of these ones. So, and I do think those darker soles are more accurate to what we see in the movie. So that is your differences when it comes to the feet. So yeah, it's the same figure, sort of, but when they say upgraded suit, I think they meant it. Swinging back to accessories, see what I did? Swinging back. We do get interchangeable hands, and we get a set of web sweeping hands, which are nice. Of course, every Spider-Man figure should come with these, but every Spider-Man figure should also come with wall cutting hands, and I would like, if I'm being selfish, fisted hands as well as a neutral pose, flat palms. I don't know. I do think Spider-Man characters are the ones where you can just give us plenty of hands for different expression, poses, displays. So yeah, at first I was like, why does this guy come with neutral grip hands? I would prefer fists. But then I remembered he needs to hold on to something, and that is his other accessory, the web piece. Now I apologise, my background is white, so you're not going to be able to see it very well, but this translucent web piece we have seen before in white. Now it is in this translucent plastic, which is very nice, and you can see one end is a handle and the other is a hook. So if I can zoom in my camera for a second, you can see we've got a hook and a handle. Now I've just measured this, and it is 10 inches in length from like the end of the tip to the handle. So you can use this for display, get him hanging upside down maybe, posing, wrap it around a villain. So it does have its uses. Now again, it's invisible on my background, but you can literally get Spider-Man to hold it. And as I said, get him posed up in a nice Spider-Man pose for the display. Just make it a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more interesting to look at. And you can use this web piece to do exactly that. So I think that is a very nice display option. And of course, you get the swipping hands as well. Let's quickly do articulation for this upgraded suit. Now the shoulders will go up to 90. There's also a swivel just under the shoulder and then a double jointed elbow and a hinge up and down on the wrists. And if you zoom in, you can see that we've got that nice butterfly cut in the middle, so you can get the arms literally swinging all the way in and back pretty good as well. So nice range, also a decent crunch forward and back, and the sculpt does continue through the crunch as well. So depending on how you've got imposed, same with the back, it doesn't break up the design as that's on the upper piece. So when you bend it like that, you're not breaking up the design. Good to know. The head goes down pretty good and up pretty good. So when you're getting him in those swinging poses, swinging through the city, you know you're going to get his head exactly where you want it. So that's pretty good. There's obviously a swivel at the waist as well. Swivel at the thigh up there. Double jointed knees. Look how good these double jointed knees are. He can literally kick his own back. No boot cut, of course, but there's a nice ankle rocket and pivot up and down. So I think for an MCU Spider-Man, the range of articulation is as you would expect and what you need to get him in some nice displays. So yeah, no complaints from me in regards to articulation, but I think he's more fun to get posed up using custom webs or the one that Hasbro give you. Jumping into some comparisons, I'm not going to bring out every single MCU Spider-Man figure we have, but here we have three important ones with the Homecoming upgraded suit and my personal favourite, the Iron Spidey. Now I wanted to make the point that people are complaining that we've had this upgraded suit re-released and people don't want to buy it again. However, we all brought these other ones twice, as if you think about it, we originally got the Iron Spider single packed, and then we got the 2-pack with the legs with Iron Man, and then the Homecoming suit we got single packed, and then we got it 2-packed again with the other Tom Holland head that came with the Iron Man Mark 47. And then obviously now we have the 2 single packed versions of this upgraded suit. So technically, all of his main suits have had multiple releases to get the more accurate version. And for me, I always want the most accurate version on the shelf. Yes, they should do it right the first time I hear you scream. However, we know what it's like. They've got to work off concept art, can't always do that, and they want to get the product on the shelf. So, no complaints from me if they're going to give us a more accurate version of an MCU figure further down the line, which is exactly what they did with 3 of these Spider-Man figures. So, no complaints from me. I do think this new upgraded suit is definitely exactly that, an upgrade. And for anyone curious, the old Tom Holland head doesn't pop onto this new upgraded suit as the pegs do not match. And now looking at these side by side, which do you think is the better head? Because I didn't hate the old one, but it looks like a massive dummy head now compared to the new one. I do think the new one is better. The old one, yeah, doesn't stand the test of time. And here we have MJ compared to Peter, of course. And I love Zendaya. And I know Tom and Zendaya are a thing and they're a couple. But can we please get the original Mary Jane with the ginger hair in the MCU at some point, please? Even a Gwen Stacy, I'd take it. I like Zendaya, but it doesn't make sense. Here we have Peter compared to some other MCU figures, male and female, with Captain Marvel and Shang-Chi. And maybe we will see all 3 of these characters share the screen together within the Phase 4. We shall see. And as I'm still on a Sentinel high, as I probably will be for the rest of the year at least, here we have Bastion and the female Sentinel Prime. And last, but definitely not least, here we have Peter Parker Spider-Man compared to Worthy, Hal, Fire, Hank. So, final thoughts, I think this is a very nice Spider-Man figure. Let's be honest, if you want the most accurate versions of these MCU characters represented on your shelf, then you need characters like this. When they re-release it and give you a few tweaks to make it more screen accurate, this is definitely the most accurate, upgraded Spider-Man suit we have from the MCU in figure form. So I'm happy with that. I know if people get frustrated about re-releases, but again, you don't have to buy it if you don't want to, but it is there for the people that want to upgrade, or maybe they missed out the first time around as well. So it's always a nice opportunity. I just think it's a little lackluster in accessories, especially when there's no Build-A-Figure piece and it's still at the same price point. Maybe some more interchangeable hands, more web effects, different faces, expressions. I want a mask that he can hold, you know, like not an unmasked head, but like literally a mask he can hold, or maybe a backpack, or there's plenty of options they could have given us. I just like being greedy and throwing these ideas out there. But the figure itself is the most accurate upgraded suit we have in figure form. That is enough for me. Definitely more of an upgrade than I originally thought, all right? And pun intended, all right? So you let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think this is just a cash grab from Hasbro, or are you genuinely curious about picking this up and prefer this version? As I said, on closer inspection, check, you've just watched the review. It's definitely different. It's definitely been tweaked to make it better, not just a straight up reissue. But yes, it could have had more accessories. Let me know in the comments below. But as always, if you like Marvel Legends, then you're in the right place, people. Check out the videos tab. But most importantly, please hit that subscribe button. Much appreciated. You can also hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Quite simply show some love or join the members club. You can follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And I'm on Twitter as well at Dan Who Reviews. And until then, people, my name is Dan W. And I will, of course, see you on the next one.